Today finally I'm installing the new battery inside the van. But first, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. My name is Diego. I'm building a van all by myself, and today I'm showing you my new battery. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery, but instead of buying a plug and play battery, I decided to build my own. So those are just individual cells that you can buy online, usually from China, but now you can find seller even in Europe or United States, whatever, that have warehouse here close to us, so you're not gonna pay like import taxes and stuff. I decided to buy them directly from the seller in China on Alibaba, but they have a warehouse here in Europe, specifically in Poland. So I was able to get those in a week, free of duty, already, imported. Of course, you need to know what you're doing, because building a battery like this, there is few things that can go wrong if you're not expert. But there's a lot of videos online, and I'm not going too deep into it because, again, you can search online. There's few YouTubers that are explaining very well. Specifically, a couple of channels are just all about those cells. So I'm just gonna explain what I'm doing and why I decided to do this. So let me show you closer. So basically, I had those cells before. I bought it like a year ago or 2 years ago actually from this seller on, you can find this one on Alibaba. Then I bought 8 more because I wanted to double the capacity, and they are exactly the same 304 ampere hour cells. They changed a little bit the printing here. There's no more name of the company. Instead, now they put the power in watt hour. I already charged them. The old one were fully charged when I disconnect them. It's not fixed yet. I can remove the bus bars. I just prep everything, and especially for the balancing cables for the BMS and the sensor here. So this is a 24-volt battery. That means I have 8 cells in series, plus to minus connected, and then you have a main positive and main negative. So in this case, to double the capacity, you are not going to build another battery and then put that one in parallel to the old one, but instead you need to connect in parallel just 2 cells specifically, and then you end up with 8 pairs of cells that you are going then connect in series together. So this is the main positive, and as you can see, I have here 2 cells connected in parallel with those bus bars, right? Negative, negative, positive, positive. And the next 2 are also connected in parallel. And those two are connected in series via this little bus bar here. And all the way across, and here I have the main negative. As you can see, I decided to use flexible bus bar like before, but I bought those rubber protection, so at the end there is hopefully no metal exposed beside the balancing cable screws here, that I'm going to probably put some glue over it to cover it, the metal, like hot glue probably. And so let me show you the original bus bar are made like this, very flexible, as you can see. I cut the heat shrink here, that's orange, and I make new one with this black one, not because of the color, but because I made it a little bit longer, as you can see here, so it's more covered, the bus bar. So yeah, those you can find them on AliExpress. Sometimes they sell those paired with a bus bar, like a kit, like a black and a red one, or just you can buy them separately. I bought also some of those to use on the cables, on the main cables here and here. Still have my main fuse, 300 amp fuse. It's a blue sea fuse. I made my own holder here. I drill a little bit. It's going to sit there a little bit more flush, and because it's very thick, this one, so like this I can mount this one on top, and I have enough thread for the nut. No problem about the bus bar being like not flat. Those bus bars are very flexible, as you can see. I'm gonna mount that one like this. I'm exaggerating, but basically there's no problem on you know, movement. The BMS wires, I just make a hole on the bus bar and thread it, and I use an M3 screw, and it's holding pretty well. No need to have a nut on the back. So I'm going to arrange the battery in the van, so I don't want to connect in parallel one old one cell with a new one, even though it's not so old. I didn't really use them much because I'm not living on the van, so they were always over 80%, you know. So because I can treat the old cell like an almost new, but still I don't want to make a pair in parallel, a old one with a new one. So I leave the 4 old one here and the new one on this side. So like that the balancer can work better in theory, because those should be matched together. I say should be because I'm not sure about that. You can check on the QR code the manufacturer date and stuff, but if you're going deep on those things, you're not gonna finish well. Well, you can find online many people saying that those cells are used, they're not good, you have to buy straight from the manufacturer, which is EVE battery. They manufacture those cells, and I think it's the only manufacturer in China that made those kind of cells. All the other sellers are just taking some of them and reselling for less. So in theory they are not the best ones, but for solar application we don't have problems. At the beginning those cells are made for EV cars and golf cars and those things, so they are actually built for traction, not for solar. So of course if you are using them for traction, that means you're discharging and recharging them at least 1 time a day, and that's a lot. So of course in a solar application we are not doing that. Most of the time we are barely discharging them if you're building a big battery bank like I'm doing. So because of that, even though they are not the best quality, there may be something about, you know, the internal resistance not matching precisely the spec to be sold for traction, or maybe the total capacity is off a little bit or whatever. I don't know the standards, so I don't care actually. We are good. Basically we are good. For the price I'm happy, even though they are not the best, let's say. I'm sure if you're going to buy, you know, a Battleborn battery, it's gonna be way better in the long term and in performance. But I think for the price I paid for those cells, if I have to change them in 10 years, it's totally fine. Because the price, talking about the price, 2 years ago for 8 cells with shipping to Italy, something like 1,300 euro, and this time, like a couple of weeks ago, for the same amount of amp hours, basically, same cells, same seller, same warehouse here in Europe, so probably same shipping cost, but this time I paid 700 euro. That's a lot cheaper. You can look up online the price of lithium in 2024, still going down. So right now I just need to remove all the bus bars that are just there without nuts, and bring the cells inside the van and rebuild everything, and hopefully it's gonna be good. Another thing I did here is I print some numbers to stick on the cells so I can remember if I need to swap a cell or for any reason. I have numbers on them. And so I bought those foam pads. They are specifically made for those cells, and I already attach one for each cell. I have a couple more. If I need, I can put more on this side just to fill up the space, you know? And I think we can go on the van. Yeah, that's it. Let's go on the van. Yeah, there are 3 helicopters there. That's one of my hobbies, and I probably need to sell everything because I cannot bring them on the van when I'm traveling. But I will bring my drone, my FPV drone. That's for sure. It's just that bag with everything I need. Okay, I'm ready to start. Just want to explain my procedure here to connect the cells. I'm gonna use some solvent to clean the metal on each cell and clean also the bus bar to eliminate any trace of grease or anything else that can increase the resistance of the connection, because that's the first cause of trouble on a battery like this. It's bad connection. So I want to make sure to avoid any mistakes here. So as I said, I will clean everything. I have this copper contact paste from Germany. It's like a grease and it's made for connection. I have a little brush, and I'm gonna put just a little bit on the connection on one side, but just a tiny bit, because the purpose of this one is to fill in any gap in the metal. So when you tighten the nut, there's no void, and although the bus bar is pure copper, so it's a soft metal, so when you close the nut, when you apply force on it, it will bend and adapt to the metal here. Shouldn't be a problem, but anyway I will use a little bit of that to be sure, 100% sure, to have a great connection on any cells. And yeah, let's start. Okay, the first few bus bars are almost connected. Now I'm placing all this mess. Okay guys, I'm not gonna lie, it's the day after, because yesterday I worked a little bit more and then I had to take care of the garden. So far everything looks good. The battery is complete. All the bus bars are connected. Still need to tighten the nuts all the way in with my torque wrench here. The spec says 8 Newton meter for welded studs like this one has. Still need to connect the BMS balancing wires up here, and I just connect the main positive and main negative loosely, so still need to tighten those as well. I have the BMS, let's see if I can show you closer, the BMS temperature sensor, which is those two green and white twisted wires. I push it a little bit in here. Can you see it? That's the BMS sensing the temperature, because if this doesn't take care, if the other one with the heating pad doesn't take care of the temperature, then the BMS is the last safety measure, and it will disconnect everything from the load and the charging as well, and the inverter as well. So the heating film, heating pad, it's coming out of there. You can see it a little bit. I had to leave it like this because the connections are quite thick compared to the thin foil, and so I can place the temperature probe, which is this shiny one here back there. You see that? That goes against the heating pad, so it can sense the actual temperature of the pad. Basically, that's how it works. And with the thermostatic board, I can set to be like around 20 degrees max. I think around 20 is more than enough to keep warm the cells. So now I'm going to use my torque wrench to finish the job here, and then I will connect these wires, close everything, mount the inverter, and it should be good. See you later. Okay, just finished. So the result is like this. I have my inverters wires coming out of this slot. Still need to connect those, okay, in a minute. I modified this one so all the wires, big wires, are protected, and I can slide these out easily like this and have access to the cells. So balancing wire and then inverter.
A few moments later.
The wires are connected. I just checked with my multimeter if everything is alright. So starting from the main negative, you should measure an increased voltage for each cells until the full battery here. Now I'm going to connect back the active cells balancer. Nothing should happen because it's off anyway. Just a little spark because the capacitors were discharged. And now let's connect the BMS and see if everything works. Okay, so let's see. This way. Boom. Okay, it's working. Yeah, monitoring. I can see all the cells. Of course, when you reset the BMS, it's going to be set by default at 50%, and after the first full charge it will auto set at 100%. Okay, now I think I can take the inverter, install it back into the van, connect everything and turn on the main switch. Wish me luck. Okay, the inverter is installed back into the van. I still need to cut a little bit off of this plastic protection because it was like touching the upper corner of the inverter, because I don't know why, but the inverter here is like thinner than here. And as you can see, the connection are done. Those main positive and negative needs to be tightened at 12 Newton meter, just in case you want to know. Okay, so it's been a couple of days because I already tested the battery and it works just fine. The only thing is that the old cells and the new cells are not quite balanced on the same level. of state of charge, so there's like around 25 millivolts of deviation between the new and the old ones. So I'm gonna use, instead of messing around, I'm gonna see if the active balancer is able to fix that. The battery is doing well in here. I like it's really easy to open and close. I did change the garage floor mat, so now it's shaped on the new configuration. I also finished this side right here, ready to move on here. The vent port, it's working fine when filling up the tank. Okay, I think for this video it's enough. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It will help my channel. And if you're not subscribed, consider to do that. If you have any question, as always, leave a comment below. I will do my best to answer, and see you in the next one. Bye!